I have some thoughts about Palia's upcoming update, so I thought I could go over those as I try and raise my cooking skill in game because it's really the last one that's lacking on my list of skills. Hi, I'm Whisperbird, and I love playing games that you feel like you can carve out your little corner of the world in, and Palia fits right in with that. The first thing I want to get into as I get my recipe started here is that I am so excited for flow tree groves. If you don't know, flow trees are a rare resource, well, somewhat rare, that in most cases you do have to chop down with more than one person. And what had been happening with me is that I hadn't been able to get a hold of a bunch of flow trees because I can't find people to come help me chop them down, and I would end up wasting like 10 minutes in some cases just trying to get someone to help me come and chop. So I felt like I wasn't able to efficiently use my time like I can in all of the rest of the other activities. So the way I'm hoping flow tree groves are going to work is that there's going to be a designated location where players can just show up and chop in a group without having to direct people to their other areas where the flow trees would have been spawning and waste minutes and minutes waiting for someone to come and help them chop a tree. So I am really excited about this and I cannot wait to see how it's implemented. My flow tree experience was actually so slow and so bad that I had just been using my foraging metals to go into the store and buy flow tree planks with instead of farming them myself. So this is going to be a super welcome addition, I think. So moving right along as I keep attempting to cook is that a pain point that still sticks for me that I talked about in my last Palia video is that the MMO part of the game seems missing, and the game was marketed as an MMO. If you look at Palia's social media, it is listed as an MMO. The first M means massive. And after playing for so many hours, 50 hours at least added on to my 30 from before, I can definitely say that Palia is not massively multiplayer. For me, it feels more like a multiplayer co-op instance game. Yes, you can make your way through different servers and interact with a bunch of different players, but you're never going to have more than 25 people together with you in an instance. And to me, that is not massively multiplayer. It almost reminds me of something like V Rising. And honestly, I don't predict that the massively part of MMO is ever going to be a part of Palia. The way they have permissions set up and the way they have resources allocated and spread across zones tells me that we're likely not going to have much more than 25 people in a zone. I mean, it would take a huge change in the network infrastructure to do that. So I'm kind of thinking that as a game marketed as an MMO, it might be why there has been some confusion and negativity around this aspect of the game, because not only was Palia marketed to single-player cozy gamers, but by adding that MMO tag on it, it was also targeting people like me who have played traditional MMORPGs for years, and so we were confused about where the MMO part is, and I think that might be part of some of the negative reviews of Palia. It's like an MMO identity crisis, like what exactly is it as far as its MMO aspect goes? Who knows? Still waiting. I really do feel like the target audience is single-player cozy sim game players, and that the MMO part is just tacked on to encourage players to purchase cosmetics to show off. I really do feel that the target audience of Palia is really single-player cozy sim game players, and that the MMO part is tacked on to encourage players to purchase cosmetics to show off to their friends. And the developers aren't hiding the fact that Palia is a live service game, but is it really the right genre for that? And because of that, I feel like it's a game that's kind of a huge experiment to see how incorporating a cozy game with multiplayer aspects as a live service game would go to begin with. And yes, it's early days, but the problem is players aren't sure what to expect from the game as it continues, and this uncertainty might keep players from investing their time and then, as you go on, also buying cosmetics. As I said earlier, it's a bit of an identity crisis. I'm hoping that as time goes on and as we gain more clarity from the developers that we will finally start to see Palia's identity clearly emerge. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that we do have some good news, because I was looking at the AMA answers that the developers put forward on Reddit, and it looks like there are going to be some more community options added to the game, like multiplayer questing, as well as some little hints at community plots, perhaps. So I'm going to open up those answers and read them really quickly. So here are 2 quotes about the upcoming community features. This is from the developer Embrace Ashes. I'm excited about how we're planning to do multiplayer story and questing. I can't get into the details right now, but we are planning on doing some stuff that's really unique that I think players will love. And then this one is from Wizard Crab. Redacted, a community feature that allows you to redacted with redacted. It's gonna be awesome. And then this is a general quote about wanting to move more towards community features. So here that is, and this is from Eris. As it was mentioned by our game director, moving towards more community features and MMO systems is a large priority for our team, so I can't say for sure when or how. That said, it is a goal for us to expand the features of the housing space, so we are planning on enabling more systems for edit access, as well as allowing players to have multiple homes on one plot. And we've already seen that we can now have multiple homes on one plot based on the last update that we did have, so that promise has stayed true. Now we just have to wait and see if we can get those community features and MMO systems that we have been somewhat promised here in this quote. MMO systems is really interesting to me because that makes me think economy, but I really don't see how Palia can do economy the way it is right now, because there's such limited trading and there is nowhere for players to set up shops and sell their things or anything like that. So I'm wondering what other MMO systems they might be talking about. Communities are already there, but I don't know how those are being promoted in the game in a way that would make people want to join one. And then maybe community plots might be another MMO system. So do you have any ideas of what those systems might be that would fit into Palia? Kind of an interesting one considering the missing identity of the game right now. Alright, so tomorrow's update is going to include new furniture, a new character with a new quest line, the flow tree grove, the ability to sit, which I think is going to be a great addition for a game that says it's cozy, and then, of course, the new huntable creature. And I just want to wrap this one up by saying that when I started playing, I truly did not realize how early in development Palia is, like how early in its live service life that the game is. So I'm just going to keep putzing away at it and enjoying it as a casual game, even though it takes a ridiculous amount of grind to unlock all of the housing plots and then the gazebo after that. That's my current goal. I really wish S6 the best and love how ballsy they are with turning a cozy game into live service and just throwing the spaghetti at the wall and seeing how it's gonna go. And my fingers really are crossed that the MMO part will come out and start to shine with updates sooner than later, because that's really the reason I'm sticking around and staying updated with Palia. Those are my quick Palia pre-patch thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say about Palia in the comments. I'm very curious what the community vibe is now that we're getting some new stuff added to the game and we're kind of seeing the direction that the developers are taking the game. As always, the links to my socials are in the description box down below, like Patreon, Discord, and Twitter. I am putting a bunch of free posts over on Patreon just for fun and like some game culture stuff, and also what's going on in my farm ranch life. I live on a horse farm and also have chickens and dogs and crazy wild animals that show up here, so that's kind of fun. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you are enjoying whatever game it is you're playing, particularly if you are hanging out in Palia. That is it for me. I will see you all in the next one.